Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Issachar coming back at you with another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. Alright, in today's lesson, we're going to go into part 3 in chapter 4 in the book of Baruch. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 25. My children, okay, the Israelites, because who are the children of Yahweh, the sons and daughters of Yahweh? Okay, the Israelites. Alright, who are the so-called blacks, Latino, and Native Americans. Those of you that look like the other nations, but believe in this truth and can receive this word. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from the Most High Yahweh. Okay, so suffer patiently. So this thing is about suffering. It's not about all being Mr. Popular, all about the clout and oh, I got all these views and look at my podcast and we're in purple and gold. Okay, that's bugged out. Okay, that's the wrong spirit to be in. Okay, that's the wrong spirit to be in. For thy enemy hath persecuted thee. Right, because right now, there's a great persecution is coming. It happened to our Lord. Okay, it happened to our Lord Yahweh Shai. Alright, so what, you don't think it's gonna happen to ourselves? Yeah, of course. You gotta know that, because those that are teaching the word of Yahweh Shai, remember, we're going directly against the elites. Okay, we're going directly against the New World Order. Okay, you gotta remember that. We're number one enemy to the New World Order. And hey man, that's that's something that we here are not we're not ashamed to say, because we stand up for Yahweh Bashim Shai. 10 toes down, we're frontline soldiers for the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai. You see? Lord willing to the end. So right here, but shortly thou shalt see. Okay, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, because we're about to see our enemies go down. Okay, we're about to see our enemies go down. Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a sight to see. It's gonna be a sight to see. And shall tread upon his neck, right? Because we got necks. Okay, we got necks. So hey, rejoice. Rejoice because we got next. Okay, we got next. Verse 26. My delicate ones have gone rough ways, and were taken as a flock caught of the enemies. Okay, because so right here, all right, my delicate ones have gone rough ways. Right, because delicate ones, meaning what? Okay, because we're the Israelites are royalty. Okay, the Israelites are royalty, and we're taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. Yeah, because we were taken away from where? Jerusalem, our home. All right, that's our home. We haven't been in Jerusalem since the Northern Kingdom, 724 BC, and the Southern Kingdom, 70, 80. So, yeah, imagine that. Okay, imagine that. Alright, verse 27. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High Yahweh, for ye shall be remembered in him that brought these things upon you. Remember that, okay? So be of good comfort. All right, be of good comfort. So chin up. Lift up your heads, because your redemption draweth nigh. O my children, and cry unto Yahweh, and ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. Right, upon us. Alright? So you gotta remember that. Because we're hoping for mercy. We're fighting for salvation and hoping for mercy. So yeah, it's very very, very heavy. Verse 28. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High Yahweh, so being returned, seek Him 10 times more. Right. So you wanna, right now is crunch time. You wanna go all out for the Lord. You put in all this overtime, and look at all this stuff you do for Esau and his kingdom. Put a little bit of that work in for the Lord. You want to go in for the Lord. You want to show the Lord what you're made of. See, hey, sacrifice some things. Trim things from your lambs. You want to show the Lord. Hey, show the Lord what you got. Show him. Hey, look, show him that you believe. Show him, like, nah, fuck, forget that. I believe. Put off that weak spirit. Cast off those moral thoughts. Show the Lord. Hey, you know what? I believe. Nah, I don't care what no one's talking about. I believe. See, you want to come in that attitude. A soldier's mindset. I don't care what happens. I'm going to show the Lord. That I believe, no matter what. See, like, don't you want to, put forth for the Lord and show the Lord that you believe? Or you just want to, whatever. Whatever. If I die, I die. Okay? You have that attitude like that, you're not going to make it. See? Verse 29. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Right there. Okay? For he that brought these plagues upon you, so the Lord, right? Okay? Shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. There it is. Because, hey, do you got joy? Yeah, we have joy in this word. Absolutely. We have joy in this word. You see? For he has brought, verse 30. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave that gave thee that name will comfort thee. There it is. Okay, because who gave us his name? The Lord. Okay, the angel, okay, told Jacob, your name is now Israel. But who did he receive that from? Yahweh. All right. Yeah. Verse 30. Baruch chapter 4, verse 30. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, because Jerusalem's a people before it's a place. That's the Israelites. For he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Right. Miserable are they that afflict thee. Right. Exactly. Okay? Because the Lord is saying, your enemies, whoever's giving you guys a hard time that believe in me, the Lord said, I got them. Okay? Check it out. Verse 31. Miserable are they that afflict thee, because the Lord's about to take out their family members, take them out, plague them. Oh, yeah. Okay? Alright? Oh, absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. Miserable are they that afflict thee. Yeah, so the Lord saying, I got them. They ain't going nowhere. Huh? And rejoice at thy fall. There it is. Okay? King David said that as well. Okay? That his enemies rejoiced at him. But it's all the Lord's doing, because sometimes, sometimes the Lord has his servants fall, but just for a test. See? So even King David talked about that. All right, verse 30. Verse 32. Miserable are the cities which thy children served. All right. Yeah, because these cities are about to be cast down. Okay, you're already about to see American versus American. ICE agents are shooting the so-called white man. Okay, so-called white people in the face. Just to show you, because these cities are about to be miserable, cast down. Alright, miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Right. Miserable. Miserable is she that received thy sons. Okay. Verse 33. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, okay, and was glad at thy fall, our enemies, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. Okay, so all our enemies that laughed at us, that said, yeah, remember Edom. Okay, when they said race it, they said, yeah, burn it down to the ground. When they burned down our temple, okay, all right, remember they said race, meaning burn it, burn it down to the ground. Our enemies, starting with Edom and the heathen, yeah, they rejoice, saying, yeah, take them down, burn them, burn it down to the ground. See, verse 34. Okay, verse 34. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. Right. Okay, so just how, the Lord tells us through his prophet Obadiah, the pride of that heart have deceived thee, meaning their mind. Because they think, oh yeah, right, we took the Israelites down and we're going to rule forever. Yeah, right, no one's going to take us down. We're going to rule forever. Okay, that's in these heathens, that's in their minds. Because they think, oh yeah, we're going to run forever. We're going to rule forever. Ain't nobody going to take us down. Okay? But their thoughts are in vain. See? Verse 35. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, from Yahweh. Because from what else? From those ICBMs. But who controls those ICBMs? Okay? Who controls those ICBMs? Who controls those ICBMs? It's, the Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai controls those ICBMs. So fire, shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. All right, because the United States is going to be completely wasted. Okay, yeah, it's going to be completely wasted. It's going to be a complete wasteland. All right, yeah. All right, United States, America is going to be a complete wasteland. And what it means by inhabitants, the inhabitant is, that means the devils. Okay, and she shall be inhabited of devils. That just means like desert creatures. Okay, like lizards, stuff like that. Snakes. There's gonna be like owls and vultures, stuff like that. Okay. Alright, so verse 36. Verse 36. O Jerusalem, look about toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from the Most High. Okay? So, O Jerusalem, Israel, remember, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. So I was talking, okay, the Lord's talking about us. O Jerusalem. Okay? Alright, so Baruch, okay, the prophet of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, said, O Jerusalem, that's referring to us, the Israelites. Look about toward the east. Why? Why are we looking toward the east? Anybody know? Okay? Because remember, the Lord's going to arrive in the Middle East first, in the Battle of Armageddon, which is brewing up right now. Okay, because these wars are escalating. Okay, so these wars are gonna escalate, but especially right there, like Apostle Tahar always tells us, keep your eyes towards the Middle East. All right, because that's where the battle Armageddon is gonna happen, right there in the Saudi Arabia Peninsula. Okay, right there, right in that perimeter, right in that region, that area, so you can understand. Okay, O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east. All right, so not only is the Lord gonna ride towards the east, but also when you pray, before we're at camp, before we do our lessons, okay, before we do our street teachings, we face the east and pray to the Lord. All right, so that's just something else. That's something else for you guys who are just coming into the fold. All right, when you guys pray, you guys want to face east and pray. All right, and behold, the joy that cometh unto thee from the Most High Yahweh. Yeah, because if you truly believe in this thing, if you're truly working on trimming your lamps and turning away from this great darkness, you're gonna have joy, because you're gonna be like, man, you know what, like this is where life is at, because everywhere else is death, and you're gonna truly be like, man, because you're gonna have that joy, because the Lord, these words are our comfort. This is why Yahushua told Peter 3 times, if you love me, feed my sheep. Okay, because it comforts the flock. Okay, this word comforts you. This is why right now it's very important that those that are able-bodied to teach the word, like Apostle Baruch says, keep it pushing. Because not only do you edify the body, but you comfort the flock. Some brothers and sisters out there can't forget about the daughters of Zion out there. Okay, because sometimes you have good weeks, sometimes you have bad weeks. When your spirit's low and you just need a picker up, or like, man, just like, man, I'm feeling like crap. My spirit's low. It happens. We're in the flesh. You're fighting. We're fighting. Okay, these evil entities. Okay, these demons, unclean spirits. You know how it is. You gotta go through Esau's. We gotta go through Esau's. His system. All this DMV stuff. Traffic when you go home. You got car problems. You know how it is. One bill after another. So it's constant. It's constant oppression. So these not only do these videos and these lessons edify the flock, but it comforts you. Because some brothers and sisters will be like, man, like I needed that. Like the water. Because we're all in the trenches. Verse 37. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. Okay? Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west. Okay? By the word of the Holy One. Okay? Oh, right there. Okay, that is very, very heavy. Heavy. Listen up one more time. Lo, thy sons come. Alright? Because the Lord is going to gather the elect. Alright? Whom thou sentest away. Because right now, remember, the elect are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay? They come gathered together from the east. From the east, they come gathered together from the east to the west. Okay, by how? Check it out. Okay, by the word of the Holy One. All right, because just by teaching the word. Okay, we don't gotta get no guns and militaries and all that. Just by teaching the word, just by pushing this word. Okay, this is why this word is such a hindrance to our enemies. Because right here, so how is the Lord gathering the elect? By the word. Just by the word, just by the word. You ain't gotta put on purple and gold and all this extra, Remember, the truth don't need hot sauce. Okay, the truth you don't need all this extra, balloons and all this, all the clout and all that. No. Hey, just teach the word. That's it. Okay? Because by the word, the Lord is gathering his elect. See that? Yep. This is why by pushing it's that important. Because just by the just by the word, okay, the hopeful elect are waking up. Okay, just by the word, just by that word. See that? Yeah, right there. Just by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of the Most High Yahweh. Because the hopeful elect are rejoicing. I mean, I know I am. Because I hope that I'm part of the hopeful elect. I pray that, but we rejoice because we know that there's a kingdom coming. We know that Esau is going down. See, this is why blessed is he that readeth. Because you got to hear these words. You got to know. You got to know what it is. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 48 on down. Therefore, thou shalt serve thy enemies. Okay, because we're still serving our enemies right now, which the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, okay, shall send against thee. Because this is why we're in this predicament, because the Lord sent the heathen against us. In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. See? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Literally. Okay? Because we had, just look at the ancient pictures of slavery. We literally had a yoke of iron around our neck. Okay? The transatlantic slave trade was no joke. Okay? Who did that happen to? That happened to us. See? Until he have destroyed thee. Yeah, because have the so-called white man stopped? Since Christopher Columbus came over here? No, they haven't stopped oppressing the Israelites. Killing us. See? Alright. Because they're our enemies, You may say, oh man, the so-called white man, why do they look at me like that? Because they're your enemy. You say, oh man, they don't really like us, because Israelites, you guys know, when you guys go into restaurants, go to a restaurant like in a white neighborhood, an Edomite a so-called white neighborhood, Salakia, an Edomite neighborhood, a so-called white neighborhood, they're gonna look at you funny, you're gonna feel that awkwardness, that hatred. Verse 49, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai shall bring a nation against thee from far. Yeah, because they're from far. Okay, what are the Edomites doing over here in America? Okay, they're from Mount Seir. All right, what are they doing way over here? See, because the Lord brought Christopher Columbus over here. Yep, you got something called that. What was that called? Salakia. Salakia. Let's see if it comes to me right now. Oh, okay, St. Elmo's fire. Okay, St. Elmo's fire, because the Lord Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, he had angels actually guiding Christopher Columbus over here, okay, for our punishment. Yep, he actually, because the angels, okay, they seen the chariots, okay, it's called St. Elmo's fire, because the Lord actually guided Christopher Columbus over here to say, yeah, go get him, go punish him. Yeah, but they took it too far. Remember that, okay? Because because the Lord is the one who brought them. Said, nah, they don't want to listen to me. Like, go get them, Yeah. Yep. But Esau, you took it too far. See? Verse 49. That the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. This is facts for here. You guys gotta know. You guys gotta know this. Out there. Okay, to the hopeful elect. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. Okay, from the end of the earth. Yeah, because they're from the other side of the world. As swift as the eagle flyeth. Right, because they came in, they didn't waste no time. Okay, Christopher Columbus said that when he was over here, okay, he couldn't put down his sword for 1 hour. Yeah. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Yeah, because we don't know, we don't understand English. Okay? Our people still have a hard time understanding English. See? Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Yeah, because they don't care about our children, grandma, grandpa. They don't give a damn. See? All right. So with that, I believe I made the point there. All right, that's it on part 3 on chapter 4 on Baruch, and we went a little bit into Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. And we went down to the verse 48 and to the 50th verse, just to tie that in. All right, so with that, stay strong, and you gotta know what you're involved in. You gotta know why we're in this predicament. Okay, what's the Lord's name? Okay, who are our enemies? See, it's very, very important. And remember, how do we measure the time? By watching. Okay, what's happening? All right, these elites are having the AI race. What are they gonna bring? Okay, they're gonna bring the digital. They already have the digital ID. They already have the mark of the beast system in place. They just haven't made it mandatory yet. So the two major prophecies we're waiting on before Yahushua cracks them clouds and shows up in those gigantic spaceships, the chariots of Israel, which are known in this world as so-called UFOs, so-called UAPs. We're waiting on World War III to take place, and the RFID microchip to be made mandatory. Okay, remember, the RFID microchip, is the MOTB. Alright, so with that, stay strong on your feet, soldier. Shalom.